Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Department of Cognitive Science. We're so happy to have the opportunity to share a little bit about our department and our programs. So my name is Kelly, and I'm also joined here with Quinn. We're two undergraduate advisors for the CogSci department. Just be aware that this session is being recorded and will be posted online. All right. So here's the structure of what we'll be talking about today. We'll start with the field of cognitive science itself, and then move on to department specifics. We'll also address a few frequently asked questions and leave you all plenty of time for live Q&A at the end. So in the meantime, you all can use the Q&A feature, which you can see on the little box there. And my counterpart, Quinn, will be typing responses to as many as possible. So please do not share any personal information through this platform. Thank you. So this is personally my favorite part to talk about. I was a CogSci major in undergrad and actually graduated in 2019, so pretty recently. But I have a lot of department for the program and for CogSci itself. UCSD was the first CogSci department in the world, and we have a lot of great researchers here in various disciplines. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what cognitive science is as a whole, though. So this field is extremely interdisciplinary and contains various disciplines such as psych, philosophy, neuroscience, anthropology, and computer science. Overall, it's really just the study of cognition, and it also covers various contexts such as the brain, behavior, culture, and computation. So it's a very flexible and applicable major because of how interdisciplinary it is. And you get to choose to make, and if you want to choose to major with us, through your electives, you can kind of guide your major to follow what you're interested in, what you may want to pursue after graduation. So you can use that flexibility to choose the classes that you are most interested in. So while CogSci does contain more STEM-related disciplines within the field, we are within the division of social sciences here at UCSD. So it is a social science major. We're also a non-capped major. Basically what this is that you can switch to our major at any point in time if you're admitted to UCSD. You can switch into CogSci, you can switch out of it and back. All right, so this is our website. It does have a lot of information, but the main area for you all would be the undergraduates tab, which we see right there. Just to cover it very briefly, we have the advising tab at the top. This is going to cover the hours of operation for our advising services and how to best contact us. The major minor programs tab covers our majors and minors, as well as the list of election options for your degree. The courses tab features our course calendar to show what courses are planned to be offered when, with what professor. It also links to our course catalog with all of the course descriptions of courses in our department. And then the student resources tab, this is pretty self-explanatory. It lists all the resources available to students, but does go more into detail about things like study abroad, the various student organizations that are related to CogSci itself, some research opportunities. Sometimes we're able to post jobs and internships, those sorts of things. And then we also have at the bottom that honors program tab. We'll be talking about that in a few slides. But yes, this website is available to all. I recommend at the end of this session, you all just peruse it a little bit and get more familiar, maybe find some questions that you might have. All right, and then here we have our majors and minors. We have several options here in the department. So starting with our majors, we have both a general Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degree options. The Bachelor of Arts, or BA, is the most flexible option, but the BS comes in a close second. So we also have 5 specialization options that you see listed. Please be aware that you can only pursue one, so you have to choose the one that you're most interested in. So as a brief overview, we have our neuroscience specialization. This is intended for majors interested in neuroscience, research, or medicine. Our clinical aspects of cognition is intended for majors interested in cognitive neuropsychology, psychiatry, cognitive disorders, and the effects of drug and brain damage on cognitive functions. The design interaction specialization is intended for majors interested in human-computer interaction, web design, and applications of cognitive science in design and engineering. If you're familiar with the field of UX UI design, this is also super relevant here. And then we have language and culture. This is intended for majors who are primarily interested in human psychology, cognitive development, language, laboratory research of cognition, anthropology, and sociology. We also have the cognitive behavioral neuroscience joint major, which is shared between both us and the psychology department. A lot of students who are pre-med choose to major in this one. Then we also have two minors here. One of them is in cognitive science, and then one of them is in design. The design minor itself is hosted by UCSD's famous design lab, but we do help facilitate its administration. And now I'll be turning it over to my counterpart, Quinn.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. I will discuss a little bit about the honors program. If you are a cognitive science student, we offer our student an honors program, and it's a great way for you to get to gain research experience. So typically, students will apply for the honors program either during their junior year or senior year. It is a great way to start getting into research and get to know your faculty a lot better. And, in case in the future you would like to apply for graduate school, getting to know your faculty will be a great way to earn letter of recommendation. There are also other ways that you can get involved in research, such as doing a Cox 199, an independent research project that require you to work with one of our faculty advisor. I definitely recommend students to join your professor and or TA in their office hours, and most of our students will find internship or lab research opportunities by visiting their professor and TA during office hours. The REAL portal, real.ucsd.edu, is also a great way for you to look into research opportunities that are offered around campus. Next slide, please. Next question is that what can students do with a CogSci degree? So as we established, CogSci is an interdisciplinary major, so the career options are very diverse. Our alumni have worked in fields from occupational therapy to speech therapy, teaching. Many have worked in game or UX, UI design, or even as software engineers and data scientists. So the career choices for CogSci are very open. For graduate school, you will have a lot of options as well, even law school or medical school. So at the link at the bottom here, you can find out what many of our alumni have self-reported that they get hired after graduation. So it is the good link for you if you have any, if you're interested in seeing what kind of career that our alumni have obtained. Okay, and next slide, please. Here is our frequently asked question. So the first one is, when do you choose what to specialize in? So we do have lower division and core requirement for the major that will give you an introduction and foundation into cognitive science and its many disciplines. This is a great opportunity for students to kind of samples these different specialization route and to see what might be the best fit for them. But in particular, as soon as you know which specialization you want to do, you can declare it. Cox 1, Introduction to Cognitive Science, that class consists of guest lecturers for each interdiscipline. So that would be a good class to take if you're interested about what fields that cognitive science offer. Many students who enter UC San Diego, they already have, one or two specialization in mind. And then taking some classes will help them narrow down their choice and as they're continuing through their major coursework. The next question is, do most students choose to specialize, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of choosing a specialization? So the majority of our students do choose to specialize. Since cognitive science is a broad and interdisciplinary field, a specialization usually helps you to focus on a particular career path. However, having a specialization will also reduce the flexibility of the major, as you will have to choose your major elective from a list of courses that related to your specialization, rather than any related cognitive science course as a whole. Usually, students who choose not to specialize are attempting to graduate as soon as possible, or have many other requirements such as double majors and minor. As a disclaimer, we do have many students who choose to specialize and are able to complete a double major or minor, and typically students can graduate in 3.5 years with our major, specialized or unspecialized. The next question that we get asked frequently is, how do you get admitted into the major? So cognitive science major are uncapped, which means students who are admitted to UCSD can declare the major at any time. We also do not require students to complete major prerequisite courses prior to declaring, but students can take the equivalency of courses like calculus, linear algebra, or statistics prior to getting to admit to UCSD as a preparation for Cog Sci major, but this is not a requirement. Okay, and none of our major are capped, so no specialization that you will have to that will require you to take any courses prior to being admitted to UCSD. Okay, and the next question is, the last question I have is, how can students learn more about the Cog Sci program as a prospective student? So if you are interested in cognitive science major and currently not an admitted student, please contact us via email. It's on here, it's coxadvising@ucsd.edu, and we'll be happy to help answer any question that you have. Another good resource is going to be our website, coxsci.ucsd.edu, like Kelly mentioned earlier, under undergraduate tab. Okay, if you have any question about the admission process, then you can contact UCSD admission and they'll be happy to answer any of your question. So that should be it for our slides. And we are now entering the Q&A, the live Q&A session. So if you have any question, you're welcome to type in the chat, and either Kelly and I will try to answer your question. Okay, so I have a question here. If you're going to undeclare but decide to choose Cog Sci as your major, can you still specialize? Or if you choose Cog Sci BS without specialization, can switch to a specialization? Yes, so the answer is yes. If you are undeclared, like I said, our major is not capped. So if you would like to declare the major, you can do that, and you can switch from a BS to a BA, or even a specialization, or you can switch from a specialization back to a BS. Okay. Okay, question, is it easy to minor in Cog Sci regardless of their major? Yes, minor is super easy. Typically, a minor only requires you to complete about 7 courses. And usually most minor, there's no restriction to declare a minor. So what is the difference between the BS and BA? So the BA has a little bit less class than have a little bit less course requirement than a BS, but it's really not that many. Maybe one or two classes, depend on what track you are planning on to fulfill. But realistically, the number of upper division core requirement and electives are still remain the same. So there's not much of a difference. So that's why usually most students do stick with a BS. Is another question, is this major impacted at UCSD? Again, we are not a cap major, which means we are not an impacted major. Okay, so question, does the BS involve more pre-med classes than the BA? The answer is no. The requirement for both BS and BA are pretty similar with the exception of one or two classes. So I wouldn't say that it involved more pre-med. I don't believe any of our lower division most of the BS or BA don't involve a lot of pre-med track courses, except for maybe the cognitive behavior neuroscience major. Um, so therefore, if you need more information about pre-med requirement, I would recommend to see if you can join the UCSD pre-med or pre-health either talks or advising session. Okay, let me see. Let me see what else. Okay, so question from, what are some classes that design specialization would take? So regardless of what your specialization is, you will still complete the same lower division and the same core requirement. However, if you choose to do a design interaction specialization, usually we would suggest students to take Java programming courses as a preparation for upper division elective. And once you declare your specialization, we will provide you with a list of what elective that you could take toward your design interaction specialization. And you can actually find that information on our website, coxsci.ucsd.edu. Okay, let me go through some more. Okay, so question, I am a transfer student who's planning on applying to Coxsci. If I get into the school as a junior year, can I still do the honors program? So the answer for that is yes, you can still do the honors program, but you most likely will participate in the honors program during your final year, so your senior year. The reason for that is because in order to be admitted to the honors program, you will need to complete your 6 core requirement prior to be admitted to the honors program. And since since you are a transfer student, you would most likely only complete the lower division before entering UCSD. So you will have to it will take you your junior year to finish your 6 core courses. Okay, so next questions, what are internship opportunities? So the department ourselves, we don't offer internship opportunity. However, if you check on our website, undergraduate, under the student resources tab, you will find some of the internship research opportunity that some of our like either faculty or company that we have worked with, if they have any internship opportunity, we will post it there for our student to take a look and see what might fit their interest. And that list will be updated as we receive any internship suggestion. You can also visit the Career Service Center to see if they have any suggestion for for you. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the real portal, real.ucsd.edu, is a good place to start looking for research opportunity. However, if you are not an admitted student, I don't think you'll be able to access the real portal. So question from a transfer student, what are the transfer requirement or courses from community college? So as we mentioned earlier, the major is uncapped, so we don't have any major prerequisite, major requirement that you are required to complete prior to declare the major. However, in preparation for the major, courses that you can take, such as calculus, linear algebra, a programming course such as Python or Java, intro to neuroscience, as long as they are equivalent to our courses per assist.org, those should be the good courses to start taking. That will help you a lot to lower the number of lower division that you might have to take here at UCSD. Okay, so question about the honors program. Is getting into the honors program competitive? Yes, the honors program is competitive. Usually a year we will see a cohort of about 10 to 15 students, depend on the year. And you will need to have a 3.5 major GPA and the 3.0 overall GPA. And as I mentioned earlier, you do need to complete 6 of your core requirement prior to entering the program. But the program is a really great way to get to know your faculty, because you are required to work with a faculty advising team, which consists of a Coxsci faculty advisor, a secondary advisor, and a graduate advisor. So that would be a great way for you to get to know our faculty, get to know our graduate student, and a good way to conduct your own research, write your own thesis. And it might help you getting letter of recommendation later on if you plan on going to graduate school later. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so question, can I do master in computer science after BS in cognitive science? How about double major? Okay, so master in computer science, yes, I have seen some of our students after graduate, they go into a computer science for like a graduate degree. However, how their graduate school determine their admittance is going to be up to that particular institute. Unfortunately, we can't really predict that, how they would take a look at your application. But my recommendation is to get a lot of coding experience and coding project. For double major, we are not a cap major. Therefore, yes, you can choose to double major with us and another major. The requirement for double major has to be an agreement between both departments, both major, as well as your college. So yeah, so we don't have any issue with student wanting to if they want to double major. Okay. Is there any other question? Don't hesitate to send over and we will try to address it as much as we can. Okay, so question, how difficult are the classes? In my opinion, I think it's really depend on the classes and depend on or what class you wanting to take, what specialization you are in. But most of us students do enjoy our classes, especially their elective because they get to take the classes that they want and they enjoy. So student will usually do better in classes that they really enjoy to take. So it's really hard to say, oh, if a class is different or not. But we have like classes with very interesting topics such as humor, beauty, and those classes are usually pretty popular because it's addressed these topics that is very interested to students. Okay. Can transfer student do double major in Cox Sci? Yes, you can double major in Cox Sci. There's no restriction for us if you want to double major. However, since you are a transfer student, if you are a transfer student, you should be aware of the number of quarter that you have to complete your major requirement. So do take that into account. Question, what is your favorite aspect of the Cox Sci program? I think my favorite aspect is that how interdisciplinary it is, how open it is for any student. I feels like any student that choose Cox Sci as their major always going to find something that they are interested in, and they'll find something that unique to them that they would enjoy learning, and that usually makes a lot of students happy because they get to learn, they get to choose from a wide range of classes. And I think our professors are really good at creating topics that interested to the student as well. Okay, so how can international student apply to Cox Sci? So as we both Kelly and I mentioned earlier, our major is not capped. So as long as you are admitted to UCSD, you will be able to declare Cox Sci as your major. So if you have any particular question about the admission process to UCSD, I would recommend you to discuss it with a UCSD admission. Okay. So which colleges are best for Cox Sci major? Realistically, our students come from different different colleges, so it's very difficult to say that which college are the best for Cox Sci major. Each college have their different sets of GE, and that could bring different unique experience to the student, and that might be applied to Cox Sci major. And as far as I know, student don't get to choose their what college they are entering in. So I don't think it will matter which college that you are in for the Cox Sci major. Okay. Question, if you are unsure about the specialization right now, can you switch to a different specialization in between semester? Yes, the answer is yes. We are very open. So again, you can switch to a different specialization at any time. Um, However, you student do need to pay attention that different specialization might have a little bit of different elective requirement, and that might mean that you might have to take one or two extra classes because you switched so late. But there should be nothing that's going to prevent you to be able to switch your different specialization. Like I said, specialization, regardless of what you are, you're still going to have to take the same lower division and the same uh, core requirement. So the difference is just going to be the sixth elective. Okay, this is another popular question that we get all the time. That is, could you do two specialization at the same time? And unfortunately, the answer to that is no, you cannot specialization do two specialization at the same time. It's basically you cannot declare the same major twice. Okay, let me see anything else. Okay, if there's any other question, please don't hesitate to type in the chat and we'll try to keep addressing it. We have a little bit more time. Okay. Kelly, is there any other question you would like to address live?
So I was actually just answering this one question. Somebody asked if we recommend doing a double major or a minor in cog sci specifically for pre-med students. And I don't know if I actually mentioned, but UCSD has an amazing career services center on campus and also available virtually. And part of this is that they have pre-med and pre-health advising. So this question, once you get admitted to UCSD would be a great question for them. We have seen students who plan to be pre-med and are double majoring or minoring. So it is possible, but really it's up to the student whether they want to add this on top of their actual course load with their major pre-med requirements, GEs. We have seen students who might add like a bio major or a chem major because they're already taking those courses. But in terms of whether to recommend it, we wouldn't be able to say for sure.
Okay. Is there any other question? Okay, so I'm going to answer this question here. Just a general question on UCSD. Could you help clarify admitted to college versus admit to major for UCSD admission criteria? Does the major selected impact admission? This is a good question probably to ask UCSD admission. Um, uh, but yes, admission to the major usually happen after you get admitted to UCSD. So once you get admitted to UCSD, then you can choose to declare your major. Depend on the major. Some major does have criteria for you before you can declare that major. But for admission criteria, it is best to contact UCSD admission. Okay, so last question here. As a prospective student, are there things that we can do to prepare ourselves for CogSci? Yes, as I mentioned earlier, taking, if you are a transfer student, then taking lower division courses that transferable to UCSD and into CogSci major itself, that will be a great way to prepare yourself for the major. As for freshman student, we usually recommend freshman student to just focusing on their math courses and their GE in their first couple quarter here at UCSD. Okay, so I believe that's pretty much all the question. We'll be hanging out here for another few more minutes. So if you still have any question, feel free to type in the chat. If not, we will conclude the session at 3:40.
And just want to give a thank you for everyone who's hung out with us for this time. We hope this provided more information on our department and our programs. And again, if you have any further questions that you think of later on after this session, feel free to reach out to us through our email. That's cogsadvising@ucsd.edu. I'll go ahead and send it in the chat as well. But otherwise, thank you for your time and interest in our department.
Okay, looks like we still have a couple last minute questions. So what are the differences between the neuroscience specialization and the cognition specialization? So neuroscience, I believe cognition specialization was an old major name, so we no longer offer a cognition specialization. So if you're interested in that aspect, that's going to be the neuroscience specialization. Um, and like I mentioned earlier, regardless of what specialization you're choosing, realistically, the difference only come into when you take your elective, but you're still gonna have to take um, uh, the core classes, the same core classes and lower division core classes, and that covers a lot of topic within the cognitive science field. It could be programming. It could also be a little bit of neuroscience. It can be also a little bit of data science. So realistically, it will just come down to what focus that you're more interested in, that so that you can take your specialization. If you're interested in neuroscience, then your elective, you're going to take more neuroscience focused courses. Okay, so we still have 1 minute left. If anybody still have any last minute question. Okay, so I have a few, looks like we have a few questions about AP credit. Again, this is going to be determined by UCSD admission. So if you have any questions about your AP credit, please contact UCSD admission. Okay, so that's 3:40 now. I just want to, like Kelly said, thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a good day, and I hope this session is provide you with enough information. And we'll see you next time in our future, Triton Talk.